Mhm.
Hello guys, it's your boy Cape. Welcome to my channel and welcome to a big video today. First live stream, or I should say second live stream. And of course, I'm with a familiar face of the channel, Big Steph. And he
Already
has someone
respect.
next to him, someone, I thought was fitting for the game. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yo, what's up? My name is Ja. Wagwan.
Tell more about yourself. Your team, everything. Speak for yourself.
Oh yeah, but still, yeah. About Spurs, support Spurs. Well, saying now I'm trying to kind of crazy, but still confident in my boys to get these 3 points on Sunday.
And yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get into this. Obviously, you guys know where to find Steph. I'll put his channel in the description. So we're just going to be previewing the North London derby, speaking about a few topics like Arsenal's midfield problems or midfield solutions. Let's say how Tottenham can potentially take down Arsenal if they won't, and where we feel like both teams are going to move on from the season. So before we get into this video, hit that like button down below, comment down below your thoughts. We will be reading some comments out in this video, and of course, subscribe to this channel.
Already.
So getting into this video, Steph, of course, we know about the injury news. Obviously, Odegaard twisting his ankle, sadly. Marino, before in the international break, obviously dislocating, or I think it was fracturing his shoulder. But obviously, we enter a game where there's possibilities that we can, do in this game. How do you feel like going into this game? First of all, how do you feel going into this game? Because I feel like a lot of the discourse has just been around the injuries and nothing's really been about the game. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's a big game. North London Derby is a big game. Like it's not
Big
a game.
big
So
game, and a game we should be confident in. To be honest, I think we should be confident going into the game. We've won 2 straight times against Spurs. We've shown that we are quality and we are of the level. And yes, we have injuries in midfield. Yes, we're losing out on players like Calafiori and potentially are losing out on players like Odegaard and Declan Rice and Mikel Moreno. All, to be honest, ideally all 3 would be. I don't know what you think, but those would be the midfield 3 I'd go with long term if we could see that as the end of the season. So the ideal midfield we want to see, it's not even going to play in this game. But I still think we should be good enough to get the 3 points, honestly. And especially with what we have as a thumbnail, young player coming in potentially to give his statement to the Premier League, Ethan Nwaneri might be a big game for this lad coming up this weekend, honestly.
yeah, just right. Like I feel like, especially after international break, and especially when you have like adversity, like we're going through injuries, we're not gonna have our ideal start in midfield. I feel like a big game like North London Derby, like all form goes out the window, all worries. It's just a game like we both sides want to win that game, and I feel like if Arsenal can, like, well, I believe Arsenal will come to that game knowing what's at stake, knowing what we can do, and a big week ahead. Of course, we've got the Champions League game on Thursday, and of course City the week after. So, from the Tottenham's perspective, how are you feeling going into this game?
I feel like we're going into it really confident. Even though the injuries that Arsenal have are ideal for us, we're going in with it. We have our injuries of our own too. We have Van de Ven still out, Solanke still out, Richarlison still out. So there's no number 9 we have up top. But I feel like even though with that being said, we still have our midfielders that we can rely on. Defensive been a little bit solid. Ramiro had to show again how good he is. Had a bag against Newcastle, I believe, but he can bounce back. Radu has not been that bad. So yeah, we're going to be pretty confident on the squad we have.
How do you judge Spurs' start to the season so far, the first 3 games?
I mean, like it's not ideal. We've been creating chances, a lot of chances, and having like better build up going into it on different games. So last the game we dominated Leicester. Just has no one bit of one slip. Even let me body get the free header. The Newcastle game again had a lot of chances. Then they finish it. Then Newcastle can beat us. And the Everton game we just it's Everton, so it's the ideal.
Yeah.
Would you, if I ask you, are you worried in terms of like, let's say the problems that you guys had last season in terms of like conceding high space and the way Ange in terms of his tactics, he's not necessarily, not saying not flexible, but he doesn't necessarily show like some games he's gonna change it up in terms of trying to match opposition and find a different way to beat a team. Do you feel like going into the season, obviously you've seen against Leicester, you guys started the game well, couldn't put your chances away, and then Leicester grew into the game and could argue that they could have won. Obviously, Everton are quite poor and are quite poor this season, so you guys played well to get that win. And against Newcastle, despite you guys again dominating the game, one could argue that Newcastle in their shape, exploited you, and counteracted on the way you guys play. Aren't you a bit worried that you guys don't have
I
like
wouldn't
an
really call
alternative?
that winning. I was more caught the chance that we just dominate the game and just kind of our chances. But in terms of like Ange, I feel like Ange has been tweaking system like tweaking the system in some form of shape. We've seen last season, this season now we're playing Kulusevski and Madison in midfield as two number 10s, having two wide players just hold the full bus back. We're seeing trying to play back a little more deeper. I want that to happen against Arsenal, but I feel like the start so far has been not ideal, but again, I feel like there's still some room for improvement.
No, I just want to ask you a question though, Ja. My question to you would be, uh, are you what should be the areas of concern for Arsenal going into this game as a Tottenham perspective? What areas do you think Tottenham can get at Arsenal to get a point? Because me and KP both believe we will come and we will get all 3 points. Ultimately, we already know what we believe, what we think, and what we will dictate that. But from a Spurs perspective, where can Spurs hurt Arsenal in this game?
I believe in the fullback areas for real. Okay, y'all don't Calafiori. You don't have what's y'all don't.
Timber and Ben White will be there though. And those are two
I can't lie.
solid.
I think Calafiori's good. I think Calafiori's fit still. I
Or
can't
if
lie
he's
to you.
fit, Calafiori is there. So
I think he's fit still. I don't let's say I think he might not start, but I think he's fit. But
I still think the pace we have in behind can still give Arsenal like a little bit of a threat. Honestly,
so you think it will be? But my thing is, if Arsenal sit back and kind of play like how we played at Spurs last season, and we sit back a little bit and we play off Spurs and allow them to come on to us and hit them on the counter. For example, you see Saka's goal he scored again there last time. Do you think you can't really exploit our fullbacks necessarily? That you would have to probably go against the grain like Ange Postecoglou, like thing was saying, like KP was saying, and sit back, and that's not really in Ange's DNA.
if that's the case, then see if he's Arsenal in the back, I see what I realized though with news is what I'm trying to do now and getting players to shoot more out of the box, pretty much have the outside the area to let someone hit it in, or Madison to hit it in like that. Newcastle game when Madison when we scored, he tap in. It came from Madison long range shot, parried up by Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe like if the Arsenal send it back, we have that confidence. All right, play, cut it back, and then hit it from long range. That could be a weapon that we could use. But again, how effective that would be, I don't know.
okay, that's fair enough. Like obviously, me going into this game, I am quite confident. Like I feel like I don't know why. Like there's this narrative that Arsenal can't beat Spurs, even if we had like Saka injured, even if we had anyone injured. Obviously, it's a one-off game. No disrespect to Spurs, I respect you guys as a team. I like your coach as well. I think I like the football that you guys play. His ideas are inventive. I always feel like in terms of when you're playing in big games, there's different ways to win football games, especially where teams have certain weaknesses that you can exploit. When you look at Arsenal, especially with the midfield out, it opens up an opportunity for new players to step up, or not new players, but players that haven't had a certain role or responsibility in the team to step up, for Arteta to show his hand in terms of tactically. How does he change up the team? How does he try either new formations? And also with the whole narrative that these two games are Arsenal's most important games, like I feel like realistically, it's not a game where Arsenal are going to be required to dominate the ball, because I feel like Arsenal have shown the different methods of going away from home, being solid in their block and then exploiting. So I think similar to what Steph said, I think we will attack it the same way as we did last season, as I transition into like getting you guys lineups from both sides. So I'll just say that I think I would start Jorginho and Partey in the midfield. I see just a comment down here that he said Havertz in the 10. I think I would do Trossard in the 10, and I would do Havertz up front, but more like on a 4-4-2. So they're both playing, kind of like a false 9 strike where they alternate. Obviously, I rather have Havertz against Romero to occupy him, aerially and physically, whilst Trossard is in the pockets. And then you have those players around, put Saka and Martinelli out wide. You have the likes of Sterling. I think Jesus is probably going to be back off the bench. And you don't have to put that pressure on Ranieri to start in this level of game. And it's not that I don't think Ranieri can or will be decisive. And if Arteta calls his number, I think he'll actually have a good game. I
I
just
think
think,
so too.
given the fact that if Odegaard is injured, he's probably going to play a lot of minutes, and the
Mm.
fact of the matter that he's 17, he hasn't played any real first team minutes, and this is not the kind of game where Arsenal are going to dominate the ball, where he's going to have a lot of opportunity to show himself. Like, so I think probably funny enough here in the next two games that both Arsenal and Spurs and City, I don't think Wanyeri should be starting because Arsenal are probably going to adopt that approach of giving the opposition the ball. But then after that, where I feel like we face, I think Southampton and Leicester, where we're at home, I think that's easy to see where he can show himself.
I would pose this to you, KP. Think about this for a second. For me, and I'll be interested to hear what you think. And Waneri's best attributes for me, other than his passing, would be his ball carrying. And I know you talk about this. His dribbling and his ball carrying is really, really impressive. Even not for Germany, against Germany on the international break, he almost scored a wonderful goal. Now, I think even if we do play Spurs, what I say I can see him starting just for the mere fact his quality would match what we might need. If we're sitting back against the Spurs and Spurs might have a lot of possession, he's someone that I'm trusting or will trust to bring the ball out of defense more than any of those other midfielders that we currently have in the ranks. And I know he's a little bit of a tricky player. Yes, he might have a few giveaways, and that's comes with inexperience. But I think with the raw abilities, I'm not saying throw him into this game, but I can see why Arteta would do it based on the qualities he carries in terms of ball carrying and dribbling and stuff like that. And I think it would be a massive, massive key for us. For what I would do, just speaking to that question, I'd probably go. I'd probably have Partey and Jorginho sit at the base. I think that would be probably the most. That should be where we're the most solid, but I think it's the area where we're probably the most liable to any threat in terms of if Spurs do turn us over high and we have to track back and run to our goal. Partey and Jorginho are both the wrong side of 30. So can they have the legs against the Tottenham team who are going to be trying to run and run and run? I think they will, but I think that's probably our main cause of focus. And who I'd go at the 10, I'd probably go Havertz at the 10. I'd go probably the width. I'd go Saka on the right. I'd go a lot of you've been convincing me, and a lot of people have been convincing me about Sterling off the left. But I'm not really sure what I do with Sterling. I'd probably go Trossard through the middle and either Sterling or Martinelli. But I think he will go Martinelli off the left, honestly.
I think Raheem will start first game.
Yeah, I don't think Raheem will start, honestly. I don't think so.
I think I think to I guess to go against you, Stephanie, your point here, not really go against you, but the reason why like I would start Wanyeri is just that the type of game that we're gonna play,
Yeah.
we're not gonna have enough ball, so there's gonna have to be a lot of off the ball work, and you have to
More work.
realize if he's replacing Odegaard's role, Odegaard is the one that leads our press. Odegaard's the one that gets stuck in, and to ask a 17-year-old in his first game to come and do an off the ball job, it's quite unfair, especially where not even like he's established that physical level to go and compete in terms of that kind of game. At the same time, in terms of what he would bring on the ball, I do agree, but I believe like the way Arsenal are going to play this game is similar to how Newcastle are going to play this game. I think they're just going to try, and when they do turn Spurs over high, the reason why Jorginho and Partey will be so key or so interesting is because they're very good ball players. So having outlets like Saka, Martinelli, if you do play Havertz, Trossard, or if Jesus magically is fit, I can't lie. If he's fully fit, I'm starting Jesus, and
I would too.
Because I think that would offer us more, both like in what Jesus can bring us all in his all-round game, even though Trossard's probably more the clinical player. But I think the way our team is going to go is not really going to necessarily see the frailties of Jorginho and Partey, because we're all going to be deep. I don't think that the fullbacks are going to invert. I don't think it's not going to be one of those games. I think it's going to be where Spurs like to send their fullbacks high to join their attacks. There's going to be space for our wide players. When we win the ball, we're going to try and get our wide players isolated up high. But going into this game, obviously, I think you said Van der Ven is injured. Is that true?
Yeah, Van der Ven's still out. Yeah, Van der Ven's still out. Richarlison and Solanke's are all out.
You know that because Van der Ven is out, you have no chance of winning this game now.
I actually think we do. Actually,
oh, he doesn't believe that.
Like the reason I say this is that when you do lose,
what would you say that though?
When you do lose, because obviously you guys send your fullbacks up high to join your attack. You play an inventive way of football. If Arsenal are gonna at least let you have the ball in like the first phase, you're gonna continue to like send your fullbacks high, or at least there's gonna be space out wide because we're gonna try and defend the middle. Van der Ven is key for your team because he's like that guy's so rapid. So in terms of recovery pace, when teams try to counter attack against you, he can recover. But I'm assuming either you're gonna put Dragisin in there, or I don't know, Ben Davies maybe as a replacement. We saw what happened to Ben Davies last
Jackson,
season when you
my opinion, Jackson is not even that slow for Jackson. If you really see Jackson play, to me, he's still like, we don't have Van de Ven. Jackson is not that far off from Van de Ven replacement, Physically,
okay.
I think he's still capable of tracking back. Just what I think with Ron Dorado hasn't been playing enough in the system to get the system enough to be a starter. He still see he has a lack of mentality. Like Newcastle goal, everyone pressed up, and everyone tracking back. He's playing both Isak and who wasn't
I can't remember who got the assist, but the
yeah,
assist,
both of them basically he played both of them on side, and that's how they got the goal.
Okay, so so you said Solanke's out, so that probably means what? The Sun start through the middle, or do you think
I think you had to play Son or Kulusevski to the middle.
so?
I'll
So
probably
Son,
play Kulusevski to the middle.
yeah, I think it would be interesting to play like a false nine type for like 10. So what? So Son off the left, Kulusevski in the middle, and who's on the right for you?
I would go on the Bear.
Oh, the bear on the right. That guy's good.
I feel he had a good start against Newcastle as well too. Just keep playing. If you get once you find the rhythm in this team, he could be a real dangerous threat.
And then who's your midfield three as well? May I just ask before Steph comes in?
Honestly, that's the same thing. Sarr, Basuma, Madison. Sarr, Basuma for the energy to run around and win the ball back, and Madison for the creativity.
Okay,
that's interesting. I'm kind of interested. I remember at the back end of last season, a lot of Spurs fans were talking about Brennan Johnson and the quality that he's bringing, and Brennan Johnson helped create the goal against Newcastle. So tell me why Brennan Johnson would not get in the team, and also too, I remember a lot of people had Otterbear off the left. Why Otterbear off the right instead this time?
I feel like with Johnson right now, he has to gain confidence back into the team. He started the season not too well. He has not been trying to beat his man properly. He's been playing a little bit nervous. Otterbear, he's came in, he's shown his confidence, he's shown what we could be capable of. I'm missing that little bit of end product. I feel like we bring Otterbear in to give the fullbacks a little bit of trouble with the space, and then bring Johnson off the bench with his tired legs. The game's gonna be stretched out. Bring him off the bench, running behind, and got the back post. I feel like it can really work out for us.
That's interesting. KP, one thing I would say is I can't see them scoring a goal. That's just me. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy. I said this last year, and the game ended 3-2. But let's go back to that game. You tell me, KP, should we have conceded 2 goals there? A penalty where Declan Rice kicked the man in his balls by accident, and then a crazy mistake from David Raya, but who I thought, to be honest, barring that mistake, had a great game. To be honest, claimed this cross as well.
But that's why, like in these type of games, like unless if it's obviously, I guess we'll see in our score predictions that we will move on to shortly. What you think? And obviously, I'm the same because I'm always confident in our defense. I don't think we're going to give them much clear-cut chances, despite them having like players that can take chances like Son. But I think because if we do give a goal, and it's shown in our track history that we do chuck away goals into our own net, like whether it's conceding a penalty or leaving space behind, one lapse in concentration, is never necessarily the team cuts us open. And Arsenal are prone to that, and Tottenham have quality players. So I think we'll defend well, but we could concede, and I think I'll rather. You'll see it in my predictions anyway. So moving on to predictions, so I'll start with Jar. What is your prediction for this game, and why do you think that's going to be a prediction? So how do you see the game going?
I'm going with a 2-2 draw. I see a penalty getting given away by either team, whether on the Spurs end or by the Arsenal end, because the referee. But I feel like 2-2 is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be, I said, Arsenal gonna be sending back, but I feel like with Spurs, we're always keen to get a result against Arsenal, whether it's a draw or it's unluckily a loss, or we get the win. Before this game going, probably be a stretch game at the end. Beginning will be all Spurs domination. Arsenal sending back, hit us like counter attack, probably causing us trouble. Probably y'all might even take the lead.
But we're like. Arsenal don't have like the likes of obviously the captain Odegaard, Declan Rice, who covers a lot of ground, would make it very tough, especially with playing that low block. Why are you not showing a bit more chest to back your team to win this game? I'm not saying that it's an easy prediction to make, but
it's not gonna be. I know, but not gonna be an easy game. But again, it's going for what happened last season. Yeah, we've been playing good, but again, we don't have some of our key defenders, and we don't have a number 9. So again, how I think we would have probably, or how would I bat this begin to win if we down number 9? Is the someone that be in a focal point in the box we could cross the ball to, or just hold up the play, let our players get in behind. Or
Okay,
like with
fair.
a player, even if Kozeski is a good player to pass off the false 9, we're still lacking a bit of goals there. So I think
Uh,
kind of like so that's what's coming
okay,
down to. I feel like
that's fair enough. Steph, what about you? What's your prediction for the game? Because Jar's gone 2-2.
You don't even want to hear the first score I had in my head. 2-0 Arsenal. 2-0
2-0.
Arsenal. I'll say 2-0. I think defensively, like I said, I think we're going. I think with the injuries out and with all the media speculation swirling around, I know Arteta is in there grilling the boys when they get back to London Colony. It will be a grilling and it will be a very serious camp over this next week. From Spurs to Atalanta to City into Bolton into the rest of the season until the next international break, you will see a very serious, a very cynical Mikel Arteta. And I think it starts with going up against Spurs. And I think it comes from the defense and it goes forward. I think bringing in Jorginho, that bit of experience, alongside Thomas Partey to play alongside the number 10. Hopefully, it's Havertz in there who does a good job. I think we'll get the goals. I'm not afraid that we will get goals. I know Spurs will give us opportunities to get goals as if we're clinical enough up front. And I think we will take our chances because last season we proved to be clinical. It's just about taking the game plan and executing. And as long as we do that, don't give away anything defensively, we'll walk out with 3 points.
It's funny enough because I'm also going with 2-0 as well. Like, I was going to go with 2-1, but I think, especially because of the fact of the matter that we're lacking Declan Rice and Odegaard, I think the team as a defensive unit will be more focused than ever, especially whoever they put into the team, especially someone like Havertz as well. I think he'll probably drop back more into the midfield and or try and drop back more to win the ball back and be a more physical body. I feel like there will be, because we have the options off the bench as well in our attack, whoever doesn't start to come on and impact the game as well, to exploit Spurs' space and behind, and as well as who we start and the space we're going to get. I think we're going to be decisive because we know going into the next week, which is, despite this being the big game in terms of as an Arsenal fan, but the City game is the big game in terms of what we're trying to win this season. So we need to go in there with confidence, at least into that, hopefully get that on Thursday. And I think we can do that against Spurs. Just to ask quickly, like Jar, like what's your quick thoughts or your predictions on Spurs like this season? Like where do you see you guys finishing in the league, and you guys on Europa League? Do you honestly see yourself winning a trophy this season? I'm not even trying to be banterish. I'm saying in terms of like, how do
yes,
you feel like you guys will do?
I see us winning the trophy this season.
So what trophy?
Either the FA Cup or the Europa League. I see us winning either or. Me personally, and I think how I feel, what I want us to do in the league is get top 4. We only had 4 pounds.
But what do you believe you're gonna do in the league though?
I believe we'll get top 4.
Okay,
I believe it.
Okay,
but
so
then
It's not gonna be clear, but it's gonna be a tough risk. You have Aston Villa, we have Newcastle, we have United coming through. We don't know when United's gonna look. Liverpool's got guaranteed third, I feel. So I believe I back my boys to get top 4 this season and they get a trophy.
can't hear it.
But and I don't mind it. That's what I like to ask. But I was asking, but obviously based on your prediction, if you're saying that this is going to be a draw, that means you're going to have 5 points out of the first 12, obviously 4 games, which means obviously you're already starting at a disadvantage. Obviously top 4 is different. Obviously you can go on a good run of form, but since you guys are playing in Europe this year, where you're going to have to rotate the squad, you've already mentioned a few injuries within the team. A couple of them are important players. So, like, how do you believe with starting with a disadvantage that you're going to be able to get that top 4 when there's so many teams that are probably vying for that 4th spot?
That's true, but again, it's a long season. It's a long season to go. 38 games to play. Only play what, 5 games so far. 3 games so far.
Yeah, 3 games after this before.
After before, so like 4 after that. Let's pick up from there.
Okay, that's cool. And Steph, just before we leave, so obviously we've seen the narrative that's been built around Arsenal and the next 2 games in the Premier League, at least, to make or break our Premier League title season, which obviously because of the type of games they are, I guess that's why there's so much being built around them. And obviously 2 tough away games. We're having a few, like we have injured players. Obviously Rice is only suspended for 1 game, so we saw how he looked for England, and he looks like the real Rice that we've been seeing. So, uh, do you feel like these games are decisive? Whether Arsenal don't maximize, whether Arsenal get two draws or a win and a draw, or two losses, or loss and a win, or like whatever the combination is of the results. Do you think it's that definitive, or do you feel like?
I definitely don't think it's definitive. I do think mentally it would be a blow, but like I've seen over the last couple of years with this side, we've grown in a mentality. You see it, and like we talked about this on the other day about Saka. We've seen Saka start to mature into a man and really start to take on this mantle. He will be captaining the game on Sunday with Odegaard missing. So to be honest, it will good as we see him leading out Arsenal against Spurs. He does well against Spurs. He scored in like I think the last 3 games against Spurs or the last 4 games against Spurs. So he has a good record against Spurs, and I'm confident. Even if I'm not saying we're going to lose these 2 games. I think we will beat Spurs, and I think we will get something from Manchester City away. But even if we were to come out of that with 3 points only, let's just say, I'm not going to say which game it is. Let's just say we come out of there with 3 points. I think it's the season is still up for grabs, and it's still what you make it. Mentally, we have to just be there to get on with it, bounce back. Don't have 2 losses in a row. That would be the biggest thing for me. I always say this against Manchester City. 5 losses is too much. Manage your losses and manage specific times and where you have bad runs of form. If you pick up a bad result against Spurs, even if it's against Man City, you have to bounce back. You cannot lose that game. I would say you cannot lose that game, but it's still a long season to play. It's still a long season.
And I think like it's just like there's just a lot of narratives being built. Obviously, Arsenal fans going into frenzy because I know Arsenal fans want to win the league as well, and they want us to do well. Maybe they're a bit disappointed by the transfer window that we had. So there's a lot of frustration within the fan base, as there always is, anyways. But I think people just have to kind of ground themselves. It's game week 3. I think because Haaland's probably started the season as well as he has, I think Arsenal fans don't realize that Man City are living in our heads rent free all the time, because realistically, we play the same amount of games as them. If you win the games, you just got to try and make sure your head-to-head battles, you have a win. That's why I feel like it's more important that we don't lose against Man City. Not that I would ever want to lose against Spurs, because I think we're going to win that game, but that game specifically, we've got to make sure we get a result. So we're not giving them an advantage by giving them 3 points from our own situation that we can control, and then we're relying on someone else to do that. I also think it's just about also one game at a time. Like if you're going to win a league, the same way when you're in the last 10 games, you're not looking at, oh, we're playing this team 5 games in. You just, hey, win this next game, get this one off the list. We go to the next one. Like that's what happens in the beginning of the season. You just like, we haven't lost a game this season yet. We're going into Spurs, a big derby game, which is coming up after, international break, after, some sad news, but we'll get a good win, a good performance in that game. And I think the fan base will be uplifted. Obviously, we like shitting on our rivals over there. Obviously, excuse my language. And obviously, we just got to make sure that we just take ownership for our season. Like it's calm. Like the season is a marathon, man. And obviously, I know not every season's the same. Like so, just because last season went one way doesn't mean that it's gonna go the same way. And just because like you just have to, at the end of the day, just take each game at a time. And as long as we focus and get the result against Spurs, sort out our Champions League stuff, we go against City and we try and get a result and we go from there. So
100%.
I think it'll be interesting. And my narrative and my belief in Arsenal hasn't necessarily changed. If anything, injuries and stuff just gives me more excitement to see who's going to have that next man up mentality, both in terms of the manager, whether it's the tactical change, whether it's playing a player that hasn't had that many minutes, or the players, like, for example, if Odegaard comes out, I think Saka's going to take that onus to be the one where everything channels through him and he takes the onus of the creativity and trying to win the game, which I think will allow him, for what we were saying in terms of player of the season and people understanding how important he is for this team, for people to see that, like, I'm saying, it's his time to step up and it's my team, which I feel like if both he can do that, once Odegaard comes back, they both can do that, they'd be as influential as possible. So I'll say we wrap it up there, guys. Obviously, I do want us to all come back after this game. And obviously, if Arsenal do hold the L, me and Steph will be here.
I'll be here.
Charles will have his, have a field day. But as I expect, and I'm pretty sure, Steph, as you expect as well.
As I expect, 1,000%.
I'm going to also make sure that I have fully black hat. You come with a black suit, whatever.
We're in the black to preview the funeral.
We need to come for the funeral of those boys. But yeah, first live stream. Appreciate everyone that's been in the comment section below. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourself. Obviously, Big Steph as you already know, quality content creator with Arsenal videos as well as US men's national team videos. So hit that subscribe button. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers as well. Very, very close. So guys, support him. Obviously, he makes quality content over there. Jar, let them know we can find you as well in your
You
socials
can
anywhere.
find me at King Jar, that's K.I.N.G_Jar. I make music, I songwrite, thought some few songs, probably EP a few months ago called In My Own World. You could give it a listen on Spotify, Apple Music, on YouTube, same thing. Yeah.
And funny
So you
story
guys,
before he even goes on, all of my intros, every single one, the music you see, by this smile right here. So give him some love, give him some love, give him some love.
beats, I might have to come in, I need a one tease from my channel as well, just
I
so
already know.
But yep, follow Jar on all his socials. Obviously, don't judge him as a Spurs fan to just be discouraged. He's a good guy. I mean, people make bad choices in life sometimes. It happens. You got to commit to them. It's just one of those. But yeah, as you guys already know, Cape has paused. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button down below. Comment down below your thoughts, Arsenal, your predictions, your feelings to the lineups, your midfield selections, and for those that are saying Spurs definitely gonna win, your money on Spurs, please. I can send my account details and you can send that money
Then
there.
let's have
You're gonna
it.
lose. You're gonna lose. So there'll be many more lives from me on this channel. But I appreciate you guys for coming, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
For sure.
Peace you.